Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida. Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 90 days. We thank you for your watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, February 25th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community. We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fête in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Rajee Narine-Singh, a famous transgender activist, actress, author, mystic, and reality TV personality. She's an activist for Trans Social. Rajee, Outshine Film Festival brings Baby for Cocktails and Cinema to Gateway Fort Lauderdale on February 27th. Tell me what's happening.
Sure. Get ready for an unforgettable evening at Cocktails and Cinema in Fort Lauderdale. On February 27th at 7:30 p.m., the Gateway Theater will host a screening of the acclaimed queer film Baby. The film follows Wellington, a young man who, after being released from a juvenile center, becomes homeless in Sao Paulo. He forms a powerful bond with Ronaldo, a mentor in the street survival, and their relationship evolves into a turbulent affair. After the screening, enjoy a post-film cocktail hour with free drinks provided by Tito's Vodka. It's a chance to connect and mingle with the fellow filmgoers and the LGBTQ plus community. Tickets are available for just $10. For more details, visit outshinefilm.com.
Well, I definitely think it's important to go and support Outshine, especially at independent theaters. Again, with what's happening out in the world today, these stories and places to watch those stories, I'm sure people here at this table can remember that movies like this would never be able to be seen at a public theater, and telling stories of the LGBTQ community. I'm shocked sometimes about people who I mention Outshine to and they're not aware of the film festival. And it is, again, another powerful institution that we have here in South Florida that we need to support. or it's not going to be here.
Right. We cannot be erased. And that's the reality of it. And so projects like this movie and books like the Stonewall Museum, those things are so vital.
Absolutely.
To our community, because each and every one of us, we have a story.
Yes.
And our stories are worth something. They're of value. And they're trying to erase us. That's what they're trying to do, especially with what's going on now.
Well, I think in line with what you said about supporting the festival, the festival supports the filmmakers.
Yes.
And without supporting the filmmakers, there's no way to get those stories out there. So it's great that Outshine is doing what it's doing, but it's so important that you support the filmmakers who are telling these stories, and that they go from festival to festival, and word of mouth is vitally important for making them survive.
Absolutely. Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Baby for Cocktails and Cinema on February 27th. Now let's welcome anchor Robert Kesten. Robert believes in universal human rights and has dedicated crucial years of his life to the integration of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights around the world. He conceptualized the UN Decade of Human Rights Education and is now the president of Stonewall National Museum, Archives, and Library. Robert, the Stonewall National Museum Standing on the Shoulders of Heroes Gala will be celebrated Saturday on March 1st. Tell me what's happening.
Well, yes, we'll be at the venue in Wilton Manors on March 1st, starting at 6 p.m. And we will be welcoming Diana Nyad, Kristen Shoecraft of Trist Hotels, and a whole host of other businesses. He is the CEO of Everything Gay, as they like to say.
Yes.
And as I've been told, he's also good looking, which certainly helps. We will be inducting Edie Windsor into our Standing on the Shoulders National Touring Exhibit. Judith Windsor will be there to accept the award for Edie's joining that exhibit, and that's very exciting. There'll be an announcement made by the legendary author Rita Mae Brown about our new women's division. And I think one thing that's really important, historically, many of the events in our community are skewed towards men. And this year we'll have nearly 50% of the audience being women.
That's great.
So for us, that's very important, because when I started at Stonewall, we said that we would be going for parity between men and women in the library, in the archive, and in our exhibits. And we're almost there, even in our most expensive event, which is also the lifeblood to our sustainability, especially with all these government cuts, foundation cuts, corporation cuts that are attacking our community. So please consider coming to our gala on Saturday, March 1st at the venue. And for more information, it's stonewall-museum.org. That's stonewall-museum.org. And you can still get some of the remaining tickets there, and you will have a ball. There's a lot of fun people that will be there that night.
Yes, including me.
Including you.
Yes, I will be there.
Or maybe we should say especially.
Oh,
Especially,
see, I
Rajee.
love that. Flattery will get him everywhere. Yes, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure it's going to be a fabulous time. And I am a full supporter of Stonewall because, again, like I said, our stories are powerful and they're meaningful, and we cannot be erased. I mean, we are a part of nature, whether people want to believe it or accept it or not.
Yes.
And we're here, we're born into life, we have each and every one of us our individual life paths, and our lives mean something. Absolutely. And when you go to Stonewall, there's so many wonderful stories. And besides, I graced the walls at Stonewall at one time. Yes, I was in a special exhibit.
Yes, you were. It was an exhibit on trans women of color, and it was them telling their stories with their own things and words. And
yes,
it was a wonderful exhibit, and one of the very few times when that was the focal point of an entire gallery space.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, Robert, you've been a part of our Hollywood Pride event with the Stonewall Museum since our first year, and we've made history and culture has been a part of our Pride event since the beginning. But when we started doing that, I don't think we could have realized that we would be in a place years later that history and culture is trying to be erased. So the work of the Stonewall Museum is so important for our community and the stories that are there. And as I do tell people all the time to stop in and check it out if they are not aware that we have this gem that exists here in South Florida. It's another thing that, I think who have lived here a while can take for granted. But when people are here, I always recommend, if they're looking for something to do, to stop and look at some of the culture that we actually have here that's not inside of a bar. So definitely go and get your tickets for Stonewall Museum Gala this weekend. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Standing on the Shoulders of Heroes Gala this Saturday, March 1st.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Jeff Oliverio. He is a financial advisor and certified financial planner with Truist Wealth in Fort Lauderdale. Jeff is one of the founders and president of the Hollywood LGBTQ Plus Council. Jeff Live Well Now Health and Wellness Fest is happening on March 1st. Tell me what's happening, Jeff.
Well, there's a lot going on. The Live Well Now Health and Wellness Fest will take place on Saturday, March 1st from 12 to 5 p.m. at the Hagen Park Community Center here in Wilton Manors. This empowering event aims to promote wellness and community through a series of health-focused activities. Attendees can enjoy live music by Sea-Wave, a free lunch, fresh groceries, and access to essential health screenings like cervical, colorectal, prostate cancer checks, mammograms, and HIV and STI tests. There will be interactive workshops, wellness vendors, and expert advice to help individuals take charge of their physical and mental health. Sublime Love, a poet, will host the event. And for more information, visit sunserve.org. Well, again, we're in a space where health and wellness is also potentially being stripped away from us, and this is a free event where we have access to things that can help both not just our body but our minds. And also, it sounds like there's some groceries there, so I think everybody can use some groceries and free lunch.
Tell me about
in this economy that we're in. So, and the work of SunServe, of course, always brings great things to the community. So hopefully, we'll see a lot of people out to support this.
I love the fact that you have a number of testing being done there, and it's in a venue that's fun. So while people are getting tested, they can also partake and have some fun. And the free groceries, oh my God. Today, I went to the supermarket earlier, and I just kept saying, oh my God, because things are just so outrageous. It's so expensive. And of course, I'm a girl that loves to eat, so lunch sounds delicious.
What's so amazing, though, is that so much of the pricing is because of greedy manufacturers, not because the cost has gone up so stupendously. And now we have an administration that has said, well, when the prices go up, it's hard to bring them down, even though they ran on the fact that they would bring them down. And everything is related, and it's so interesting how people don't matter very much, and yet here's an event that is building community. So we are demonstrating to the world that you may not think we're important, you may not think we're vital, but in reality, we're the ones outreaching to you to come in and join us as part of a community that really does care about people. And that's because we are the children of the rainbow, and everybody is safe under that rainbow.
Powerful.
I mean, I think we're hearing on the news just what is going to happen to those out there that are relying on Medicare and Medicaid for all kinds of health-related or food stamps. Yes, all of the things that the most vulnerable of our community are going to be suffering from. So events like this, while there's a lot of positive to come out of them, they may be, kind of the bare minimum that's available. So I hope people will take advantage of these things.
They're also organizing tools, because people will see each other, just like I think it was today or yesterday that someone from the West Coast, a legislator, is proposing doing away with same-sex marriage. So these are the kinds of places where you can talk to people. Our gala, you can talk to people. that's vitally important, that we are in an environment where we see each other
And have
where
community.
and have community.
Oh my God, and I gotta comment on that, Robert, because, I have to tell you, in recent times, I've had feelings where I felt like I just want to hide away.
Mm-hmm.
And I fight against it because I know that's exactly what they want us to do. And so I'm pushing myself to be out there, but I swear with all that's happening, it makes me not even want to come out of my apartment some days, And so, very, very important for us to stay connected as a community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Live Well Now Health and Wellness Fest on March 1st.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Jeff Oliverio, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Hotspots magazine celebrates Gay Spring in new March edition. Hotspots is celebrating 40 years with a special spring edition coming this Thursday. The magazine is part of Hotspots Happening Out, the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media group in America. This new Hotspots issue will include many interesting features, like an exclusive interview with Forrest Van Dyke by Scott Holland. Forrest is part of Disney's Lion King, which will return to the Broward Center stage on March 6th. Talk about exciting interviews. Scott Holland sat down with Ty Sutton for an exclusive Hotspots interview just a couple of days after Sutton celebrated his first anniversary as the president and CEO of the Broward Center. Don't miss the feature, Be the Example, that talks about Melissa Etheridge's Guide to Joy, Resilience, and Unity. This gay icon is turning environmental and political turmoil into art and connection. Chris Azzopardi sat down with Etheridge for an insightful interview where she also teased her upcoming music. The National LGBTQ Task Force's Winter Party Festival 2025 is here. It will start on February 26th and run through March the 4th. The new issue has covered all the details you need to know about this amazing party. For those who love to spend weekends and nights with a book in a hand in a cozy corner of the house, the magazine has suggested amazing queer winter reads. You would love them. And of course, you can read popular features like Hot Bodies by Leo Harley, Hotspots Hotties featuring King Adonis, Deep Inside Hollywood by Romeo San Vicente, and Out with Scott and What's Hot by Scott Holland. Grab your free copy of Hotspots magazine on Sans Thursday, February 27th, or you might miss all the fun. Maybe I should have said miss all the hot fun. There's a lot of hot in that story. Hot, hot, hot. King Adonis, I think, is on the cover. He was a performer at My Hollywood Pride and for our after party event. So just for King Adonis, I would say check out the issue. But lots of great information. Winter Party Festival is coming up this weekend. So there's a whole slew of coverage on that. So a lot of always a chock full of information.
Definitely. It's such a pillar, in the Hotspots magazine, and it's just something that I look to, like whenever I go to the Pride Center or any place where they have magazines.
And you're in it very, very frequently, Rajee. I've seen your picture in there a few times.
Oh, and it's me. So you caught me. I'm picking it up to see if I made one of the pages. Because listen, let's face it, it's a popular magazine,
exactly.
and a lot of people read it, so.
See and be seen.
Yes.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer, nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into the big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Rajee Narine-Singh, and let's queer up trans rights. Pedro Pascal reaffirms trans allyship as he calls out vile transphobia. The Last of Us star Pedro Pascal has fiercely condemned recent anti-trans policies, calling them vile and pathetic. Over the weekend, Pascal shared an Instagram post showing a message on a building. He told his 9 million followers, quote, "A world without trans people has never existed and never will. I can't think of anything more vile and small and pathetic than terrorizing the smallest and most vulnerable community." End quote. The post has since gained nearly 1 million likes. While Pascal didn't name specifics, his comments follow Donald Trump's recent orders restricting transgender rights. These include banning trans women from sports, barring trans youth from gender-affirming care, and mandating passports reflect birth-assigned sex. Pascal's advocacy also is personal. His sister Lux Pascal is trans. After his post, he shared a photo of her at Chile's Vina del Mar Festival, simply captioned Lux. He also posted a video of late trans activist Cecilia Gentili urging trans youth to embrace their identity. Wow. You know, as a trans person, I just have to say, I am so thankful that there are people that still speak up for us, because I know people are afraid and not making excuses. I mean, I'm out and about, and even sometimes in Wilton Manors, I go into spaces and I feel like the looks of disdain and the attitude of why are you here? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, God, we are a community. Whether you like it or not, the world clumps us together. Mm-hmm. LGBTQ. We have our differences and our own set of issues, but we are clumped together and we're a community. And I always say, same boat, different compartments. That's how I see it. And I think that the saying is, once they come for me, they'll come for you. And so I just get I don't take it for granted. it's so heartfelt to me to know that there are still people that are willing to stand up for us and not say, well, that's those trans people's problems. We don't have, that's not our problem. So, because, there is power in unity.
Well, the reality is that we are one human race. And what we see is there are those who divide and those who bring people together. And as I said just before, we're the children of the rainbow. We have a special obligation to invite people in. We do not have the luxury of being dividers. And when people try to divide us by picking the weakest link or the low-hanging fruit, they do a disservice to all of us. And it puts us all at risk in ways that we can't even imagine. And they do try to do that intentionally. And they single out one group over another in different circumstances in order to gain leverage. This isn't about them caring. This isn't about them believing what they're saying. This is all about a claim to power that they don't deserve. And I can assure you that at Stonewall, we will never, ever drop the T or the Q or any other letter or any color flag. We are in this together, and we will damn well get up and fight for you every single day of the week, because there is no other option, and because, as you said, this is a family, and you don't cut off one limb to drop off one member of your family because you think you're going to survive better. You will not.
Of course we can tell the story over and over a million times, but it's just needs to always be said is that our movement was led by trans women of color. Why we're sitting here today with the freedoms that we have enjoyed started at Stonewall. And for our community to be dividing itself at this phase is exactly what they want. I mean, we are, to pit us against each other. And of course, that after the election, there were people out there from our own community. We're not talking about the right wing. We're not talking about our own community saying, well, we shouldn't have been so out there on trans rights.
Yeah.
And as you just, mentioned before, look what we're facing now. We thought, oh, well, they're just going to go against trans people. They're not going to come for marriage equality. They're not going to come for health care, for, HIV and HIV research and things that are very important to our community, but they already are. And it's been a month. Let's reflect on, it's been 1 month and they're already coming for all of the other things that people in our community thought, oh, well, that won't happen. Oh, well, that won't happen. It's already happening.
You know, you say it's been a month. I swear it feels like a year already.
It feels like a long
I mean,
year.
a long time already. It's only been a little over a month.
Which is what they want. They want to overwhelm us, and that's why we have to, stay vigilant. We have to stay united.
We have to be informed. Because everything that they're doing is well plotted out.
Mm-hmm.
The divisions that they're creating is an attempt to scare us into giving something up. And if we give up trans, then we'll be okay. If we give up lesbians, we'll be okay. If we give up old white gay men, we'll be okay.
Yes.
Everything is a calculated risk on their part. And we know that because they learned from DeSantis's mistakes. DeSantis went after blacks. That didn't work out so well for him. He went after gays and lesbians. That didn't work. And then he landed on trans children. And the Trump people jumped in on that and pretty much took it away from him. So now he's arguing about Casey running for governor. I mean, it's... As Trump would say, I hate losers. Well, DeSantis is a loser. And if we stick together and if we build our coalition the way we should, the way we have historically, from Stonewall to marriage to HIV to fighting in the military, we've done that by building coalitions that go way outside our realm. And that's what we really have to focus on, is building and not getting smaller.
You know what I love? I went to Hollywood Pride a few weeks ago, and anytime I go to a Pride, that's when I see the unity in our community. Mm-hmm. And I think to myself, God, if this could be like all the time. Because, everyone is just so unified and happy Pride and, so connected. And I really think like if we could keep that spirit going all the time, our community would be a lot stronger than it is.
Well, before we wrap up, I just want to say, to Rajee, but to all of our trans siblings out there, if you have friends that are out there, reach out to them and ask them how they're doing, because, they may be out there putting on a strong face, but it's not easy. So thank you for doing what you're doing and for being visible. That is a big story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Robert Kesten, and let's queer up politics. LGBTQ Florida braces for a next round of hate. DeSantis slams Trump governor's choice and wants his wife. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has slammed Trump, backed Byron Donalds for governor, instead promoting his wife Casey DeSantis as a better choice. Speaking at a Tampa press conference, DeSantis dismissed Donald's contribution, saying, quote, "You've got a guy like Byron. He just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had here over the left over these last years. He's just not been a part of it. He's been in other states campaigning, doing that, and that's fine," end quote. Instead, DeSantis praised Casey, saying she'd do, and I quote, "do better than me," unquote, and has the fortitude and intestinal fortitude to lead Florida. Casey DeSantis is a former TV anchor and influential political advisor, enjoys higher name recognition among Florida Republicans than Donald's. For LGBTQ Floridians, this signals more conservative attacks are coming. Casey, like her husband, champions hardline, extreme right policies, often targeting queer groups. With tensions rising, Florida LGBTQ community is bracing for another political battle. Just this week, DeSantis' new AG appointment filed a lawsuit against Target for its Pride merchandise in stores during Pride Month. It is insanity. We have sort of grown used to it. The danger is that we start to think it's normal. But in Florida, if you recall, Target put all its Pride stuff in the back because they were so afraid of having anything Pride. I think, and I hope, that they'll be bolder this time because the attacks are so abhorrent and the political climate has so elevated. But if I'm not mistaken, Target also did away with DEI. So these companies are trying to walk a very fine line. I think it is vitally important that as a community, locally, nationally, that we make outreach to corporations that we have not done in a while. We grew accustomed under a freer DEI society to expect certain contributions. We got fat on those contributions. And when those companies got severed from DEI, they also severed themselves from us because we didn't have the relationships that we really needed to have. And this is the example of that. And the idea that Casey DeSantis could be the governor or Matt Gaetz, who was also thinking of running, I mean, you can only go so low before you have to rebound. And Florida is ready for a rebound. I don't think that any Republican should be left standing on this platform going into the next gubernatorial election. We have to organize not based on party affiliation, but based on what is right. We are not doing that. And we are invisible on our side of the aisle.
He wants to keep it in the family, too, because let me tell you, he's up in 2 years, right? 2026, I think. He can't run again for governor.
No, he can't.
So if he could, believe me, he wouldn't be pushing his wife. He'd be running again.
Absolutely.
It's the fact that he can't run again. He's having his wife go so they can still stay in power, because I think in many ways he's going to be the puppet master. You know, he'll still be there in her ear.
Well, he also wants to run for Marco Rubio's seat as being being our senator. So that would put both of them in power in the same state of Florida, which is frightening. But I think it's important to remind people who, you know, we have an attorney general that's suing Target about Pride merchandise. We should have an attorney general that is suing insurance companies, because we have the highest rate of car insurance increases in the country. We have the highest rate of homeowners insurance, that people can't even insure their homes. That's what a real attorney general who cares about people and what's happening in their lives. We have the highest food inflation. You know, inflation is happening everywhere. Florida is typically at the top of those lists. We are not ranked in the top for education, which is another issue. We're more concerned about banning books and making sure that children can read. So there's a lot of things a real attorney general could do to actually support the lives of people in Florida, but they're not doing that. What they're doing is finding scapegoats to make themselves look relevant to get news headlines by coming after a company like Target for Pride merchandise. At the end of the day, I could care less if I would like that Target sells Pride merchandise, but I would also like to be able to make sure that people can afford their groceries. Target is much more important. We can make our own Pride merchandise outside of Target, but it's more important. And this idea of this nepotism of having, you know, Trump, you know, is trying to place, you know, his family into other offices, and now we have DeSantis following that same strategy. It's this whole idea of kind of having a system where it's not about elections anymore. It's about entitled elites coming into power. So I urge the Democrats, we should be announcing and having candidates starting now. Hopefully we get some strong candidates to run for governor. We need them. We need them to start now, and we need our community to rally around them and support them, because unfortunately, we talk about name recognition. The statewide Democratic Party, you know, name recognition is very low for most Democrats, because we have not been in power in this state for so many years.
Yeah, but even with that, Charlie Crist was known. He was a governor. He was a member of Congress, and it didn't work. And it didn't work. He was
also a Republican.
But it didn't work partly because there is no movement within our community. Our complacency and apathy outweighs the efforts of a party. This has to be from the ground up. People have to understand that a good citizen in the United States of America is someone who is committed and engaged in the process. And we have not been. And that's why nobody knows who the other side is. And that's why Miami-Dade is not blue anymore. It's not even purple.
No. Well, I don't know how powerful this is going to be, but I know that on Friday, there's a boycott within
Yes.
well, especially, I don't know if it's across the
It's
board.
national.
It's national, okay. Yeah, a boycott, no money spending on Friday. And I know I'm going to try my darndest not to spend a cent. And you know, it sounds like a little, but if you have a mass amount of people,
That's what it
maybe
takes.
some of these retail stores will wake up.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. And you know, how do you hurt people?
In the pocketbook.
In the pocketbook, you know, in the pocket. So I'm going to try my best, and we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, there's power. I mean, look at, and I don't want to go all the way back, but like, look at the Montgomery bus protest or strike. You know, boycott, I should say. And you know, they thought, oh, please, like, really? You black folks, like, it's going to really hurt us? It went on for a while, but guess what? It hurt them.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Just look at what COVID did.
yeah.
Yes.
No cars on the road, no planes in the sky. And the rich people were the ones who were complaining. Don't give them an extra $1,500. Send them back to work.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
if an illness could make them so angry,
Yeah.
just imagine if Americans stayed home. Not a car on the road, not
Yeah.
a plane in the air, not a person in a store, not a person in an office. That will send a message, because as you said, that's the only thing they understand. As Donald Trump says, if someone hits me, I hit back harder. Well, we're coming with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Jeff Oliverio, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Visit Lauderdale invites you to Artists in Residence annual show March 12th through the 20th. Visit Lauderdale is set to welcome you to the Artists in Residence annual show at History Fort Lauderdale, running from March 12th through April 20th. This vibrant exhibit features 6 talented artists: Constance Ivana, Stephanie McMillan, Ruchi, Florencia Clement de Grandpre, Jenna Ross, and Maureen Downs. Don't miss the meet and greet with artists on Wednesday, March 12th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the New River Inn Museum of History. Enjoy complimentary light bites and beverages while connecting with the creatives. History Fort Lauderdale celebrates the community's rich, multicultural heritage year-round. Notable exhibits include Women Trailblazers, The Roots of Resilience, The Journey of Black Broward, Seminole Arts and Culture, Viva Fort Lauderdale, celebrating Hispanic art and culture, and Take Pride, a powerful retrospective on LGBTQ life in South Florida. For more details, visit historyfortlauderdale.org. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Jeff Oliverio, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Rajee Narine-Singh and Robert Kesten, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and queer. Good night.
Peace and blessings.